Recently, the United States military removed the posting of a Bible scripture from an enlisted person's private area, which violated his Christian civil rights. It is illegal for the military to say that a Bible scripture is offensive. It violates separation of church and state in keeping the state out of our private, personal religious beliefs, and the separation of church and state, stopping religious censorship. The 1964 Civil Rights Act protects an individual's legal right to practice their religious beliefs on the job, on government land, or in their businesses, in which case enlisted personnel would not lose their Christian civil rights while on the job or on government land, especially that of their private quarters. The military has violated this man's Christian civil rights. In cases like these, it's imperative to document the religious discrimination for court in order to file lawsuits of religious discrimination violating protected class status under religion. There is no freedom from religion. Those that become offended at Bible scriptures being posted in someone's private quarters in the military are expected to practice religious tolerance. Again, there is no freedom from religion. Religious tolerance is expected from those that find the Christian religious faith offensive. We do not have censorship. We certainly do not have Bible censorship. In the United States, the separation of church and state keeps the state out of the church and out of our personal. Our federal Supreme Court did not find a freedom from religion. They saw that our founding fathers quoted the Bible openly, documented over 15,000 times, while on government land, working as government employees on the time clock. This is not a freedom from religion. They're opening and closing every session, making our laws with prayers unto God, and quoting the Bible over 15,000 times in those government sessions, while standing on government land and while working as government employees on the time clock, shows that their intent was not a freedom from religion. They expected us to have those same Christian civil rights and freedom of speech rights, our First Amendment rights. The enlisted in the military do not lose their First Amendment rights when they enlist into the military or while they're on government lands. Again, the 1964 Civil Rights Act ensures that Christians do not lose their Christian civil rights, their First Amendment rights, while on the job, in their own businesses, or while on government land. Their constitutional civil rights were upheld in the federal Supreme Court rulings, ensuring Christian civil rights to, quote, adhere to core values. Other federal Supreme Court rulings, those supporting the Christian civil rights of proselytizing or spreading the gospel of an uncensored Bible. As we do not have state-approved Bible scriptures nor state-approved sermons, the state cannot come in and censor certain scriptures that they've deemed offensive or they fear others will find offensive, as that violates separation of church and state, keeping the state out of the church and the church's doctrines, stopping Bible censorship, as well as the federal Supreme Court supporting our legal rights to, quote, debate the issues when they overturned the hate speech laws, stopping Bible censorship of Romans chapter 1 and other scriptures. When the federal Supreme Court overturned the hate speech laws, upholding the citizens' legal right to debate the issues, including that of scriptures that condemn homosexuality and the homosexual lifestyle, such as Romans chapter 1, this ended attempts at calling the Bible hate, calling Christianity a religion of hate, calling Christians a hate group, or any other discriminatory act against the Christian religious faith or the Bible or the Torah, being Judaic law. That neither the Jews nor Christians will be discriminated against nor censored with any form of religious censorship. They have the legal right to debate the issue on any topic, including that of homosexuality, and they still have fully intact their freedom of speech and freedom of religious practice legal rights, while on government land, or in their businesses, or on the job, just as the enlisted and the military certainly retain these legal rights. The state cannot demonize, criticize, or stigmatize and label with terms such as hate any particular tenet of a religious faith, as this would violate separation of church and state, in that the state cannot condemn a religion just as they cannot condone a religion. We see many issues popping up in the military recently where, in the Department of Defense, the Office of Religious Tolerance, making many anti-Christian slurs, degrading the Christian faith, labeling it, stigmatizing it, and condemning it, violating separation of church and state, and practicing religious discrimination, violating Christians' protected class status under the law in the 1964 Civil Rights Act. And this coming upon the back of the military bringing in Islamic chaplains. These Islamic chaplains are being brought in to lead prayer to enlisted personnel, of which have already stated on record upon their entrance into the military that their religion is Christian, and their pre-existing religion prior to joining the military being that of Christianity, showing that the military's intent was to take these enlisted men and enlisted women and change their religious faith from that they've already claimed to be Christian to now being that of Islam, which is the state endorsement of a religion, the state endorsing Islam, and the change from Christianity over to Islam. The chaplain's job is to lead the military's enlisted in prayer in their pre-existing religion, not to have the chaplain come in and change the religion of the enlisted. That is violating the separation of church and state in state endorsement of a religion. There have also been many federal offices in the United States government that have sought to label Christianity as a terrorist group or a, quote, hate group due to their tenets of faith of Romans chapter 1, that homosexuality is a sinful lifestyle. Christians have the legal right to adhere to, quote, core values, according to the federal Supreme Court ruling. This gives them the legal right to adhere to Romans chapter 1 without having to change their doctrine or their faith to appease others or the state. Otherwise, it would violate separation of church and state. Again, the state cannot condemn nor condone a religion. It cannot condemn Christianity, nor their tenets of faith such as Romans chapter 1, nor can they condone religions such as Islam or New Age. As there are many that would love to see those enlisted that are of the Christian faith be propagandized with the New Age movement or Islam to de-Christianize them. But again, this violates separation of church and state. In state endorsement of a religion, the state cannot endorse Islam or the New Age movement, teaching that all paths lead to God, and bringing in non-Christian indoctrination, de-Christianizing the military as enlisted, as well as the state cannot condemn any tenet of a religious faith, that of Christianity, or any particular tenets of the faith, such as Romans chapter 1, referring to homosexuality as a reprobate mind, as the state cannot bring in Bible censorship. They cannot condemn a religion, nor can they condone one, by bringing in Islam or the New Age movement. All of these acts violate the separation of church and state and are discriminatory acts against Christianity, violating the 1964 Civil Rights Act and the protected class status Christians have under religion. Again, the military's enlisted have the full legal right, their First Amendment rights, and the rights upheld in the 1964 Civil Rights Act and core values ruling in the federal Supreme Court to adhere to their core values, to post Bible scriptures in their private area, as they do not lose their Christian civil rights while on government land or while they're working. Again, the 1964 Civil Rights Act, denoting Christians as protected class status under religion, as there is no freedom from religion, and those that are offended by the Christian faith and those that post Bible scriptures, tolerance is expected from them, religious tolerance, rather than censorship. This is the law. Christians have their civil rights as well. Remember, you are not a libertarian until you support the legal rights of those that you despise. Christian civil rights. Again, there is no freedom from religion. Religious tolerance is expected from those that oppose the Christian faith. This has been another episode of On a Legal Note by Carrie Guerin Scoggins. Look for more information. Carrie Guerin Scoggins Political Newsletter and Carrie Guerin Scoggins Political Newsletter Bible Prophecy Times Edition, Facebook pages and bloggers.